Carla. I'm 6th semester Modern Languages Bachelor student, and I'm here to present the topic Teaching Methods. I decided to guide this video through three main headings. The first one is about what are teaching methods. The second is what is grammar translation and eclectic method, and the last talks about some differences between them. So, let's start with it.
In the first part of this video document, I will describe what teaching methods are. To begin with, it is known that learning a new language is needed nowadays, and some means to instruct them are the teaching methods. An important feature of contemporary teaching of a second language is the creation of new methods, theories, and approaches in order to find an efficient and effective way to educate the students. These theories have been related with different fields of linguistics, such as psychology, anthropology, sociology, among others. In addition, teaching methods are necessary resources in the process of education. Firstly, because they are means used to develop teaching in a proper way. Therefore, teaching process could be easier for teachers and students. They have a particular importance because teachers use them to organize and manage the educational process. Secondly, teaching methods are determined by the purpose and the content of education. As a result of that, teachers have free range of the selection and use of them. From 19th century to our days, teaching methods have been adapting themselves to new needs of society. However, they try to keep focus on ancient theories, but at the same time, they try to change some aspects to make it better, in order to fit the necessity of students. In addition, the development of them coincides with the appearance of certain linguistic needs that emerged in the European framework. Moreover, teaching methods that exist today are based on different theories of learning, for example, behaviorism, constructivism, etc. Teaching methods' goal was focused on culture, but since 1950, the object has been focused on practice, due to the fact that some teachers and psychologists said that teaching a language should have a communication goal, because it's a tool designed to engage a conversation with people who speak another language.
Teaching methods have been changing the educational process through the time. Methods have been related with advancement or stagnation of students. To begin with, there are several skills that need to be developed, such as listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And it is known that each person is different. Therefore, each individual has a different learning strategy. Also, we must know that some methods are more useful than others because some of them are just based on only one skill, or some of them are kind of boring. For example, the auditory method, in which students had to repeat everything that teachers said, so students used to get sick of it. Nowadays, teaching methods have been modified to fulfill the first skills, because it has been proven that for a language class is pleasant in every way, students have to encourage each of those skills. For that reason, I'm going to compare two of them. The oldest method, I mean the grammar translation, and the eclectic, which is the latest teaching method.
As I said before, the cultural objective was the main concern in the 19th century. The students used to study a foreign language, its literature, its proverb, in its culture in general. However, in 1850, the practice target was preferred because it emphasized the communication. Since the 19th century and up to now, different methodologies have succeeded, such is the case of the eclectic method, quite contrary to the grammar translation. To begin with, these two methods have marked the development of teaching methods through the time. Firstly, the grammar translation method was used in schools for teaching Latin and Greek. On the other hand, the eclectic method is a combination of different learning approaches to accomplish educational goals. Also, by the use of this method, learning is not a boring and stressful process. Moreover, these methods have been created by foreign languages teachers. First, the grammar translation method was emerged in Prussia in the 18th century, and its exponents are Johann Seidel-Stuckow, Karl and Johann Meinding-Plotz. Secondly, the eclectic method was created by the Dr. Vogel, who achieved associating the spelling of each word with the idea that it represents. Their application processes are very important. For example, the grammar translation is a method in which teacher doesn't explain anything about grammatical rules, conjugations, etc. They just give text to their students and then students should translate them literally from their mother tongue to the target language and vice versa. Otherwise, in the eclectic method, teachers select information of different teaching approaches in order to this info helps them to develop all the students' skills. Moreover, through this method, teachers explain grammar and students are able to practice listening and speaking. And last but not least, teaching methods are related to the attitude or motivation that the students can show toward learning. And unfortunately, nowadays, education is considered only a mandatory activity imposed only by adults.
Teaching methods have been used depending on the impact they cause. Taking into consideration that lack of motivation is one aspect that is related with the school failure, we could say that teaching methods can beneficiate or affect the students' motivation. As we know, besides the personal initiative, teachers can help students to keep learning or to achieve a good development. But also, the method they use has much to do with this. For example, for a person speaking may be more important skill, and for another person writing skill. Therefore, there could be an imbalance on learning in the group because not all of them are going to have the same advancement level due to they have different interests. And in the case of these two methods, the grammar translation is a method that doesn't motivate the students due to the fact that it is a monotonous process. Contrary of eclectic method, which tries every day the students have a full and fun class. Well, I'm going to continue with my video and I'm going to talk about some differences between them.
To begin with, although teaching methods have different objectives, it is obviously that there are many differences between them, since the participation of teachers and students to their application processes. Also, there are some features that make a method tedious and uninteresting, but there are also those which make learning fun and more effective. There are some characteristics that differentiate the grammar translation from the eclectic method. Firstly, the grammar translation method is taught in the mother tongue, and the speaking and listening skills are neglected. On the other hand, the eclectic is a more flexible method because it is made of several points of different methods that are chosen by teacher. In addition, all the skills are developed since grammar, the speaking, and classes are given in the target language depending on the student's level and on the teacher. Moreover, there are advantages as well as disadvantages of these two methods. One of the advantages of the grammar translation is that the students were considered to have a better social class because they had knowledge due to their learned culture and a lot of vocabulary. On the other hand, one big disadvantage was that the students were not able to have a conversation with a person in the learned language. On the contrary, the eclectic method is full of benefits. As I said, students develop their four skills because teachers divide the class into sections in which the students work each competence through group activities or alone. Due to the fact that this method is made of factors that teachers choose, this method is supposed to have no disadvantages. The teacher's and student's role is fundamental in a class. First, in the grammar translation method, teacher is the one who is in command, and also he is the only one who is supposed to be wise. In the case of students, they stay in a passive way, due to they just receive indication from teacher. On the contrary, in the eclectic method, teachers help the student clarifying some doubts and explaining rules as often as necessary, and students are active by doing some activities such as role-playing, simulation, and also using their creativity. Teacher must be a guide, a facilitator, a spark-plug inspiring source of knowledge, familiar with methods and techniques, a friend and also a father, In other words, a person who helps the heirs generations are worthy of future society, and a way to achieve it is by having a good quick system in a classroom.
This quick system is very important in the learning process because it is a factor that contributes to its consolidation. Being a teacher who is always attentive to the learning process and be the good students with a self-regulated learning, in which a student is who has an active role in class under the guidance of his teacher, is necessary because it has been proven that students have a better learning when they are active. So here's the importance of knowing how, when, and why use a suitable teaching method. And in my point of view, the most suitable teaching method is eclectic, because it is a method in which students are dynamic by doing some activities and exercises, so it's easier to save the knowledge that is stored in their memory. So, we have analyzed some important features of grammar translation and eclectic methods, and now we know that teaching methods are necessary resources due to the fact that students can develop skills in an easier way. Also, there are disadvantages in their use, and a good representative full of drawbacks is the grammar translation. To finish, as future teachers, based on a student's profile and program's objectives, we must select a combination of methods that increase the likelihood of achieving the learning target. As Confucius said, "When I hear, I remember. When I see, I remember. But when I do, I learn." This is the interactive nature of learning.